Welcome to the Business Growth Podcast. Today I'm here with Jason, the partner at Oro Tax Advisors. Welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you. Glad to be here.
So tell us a little bit more. What do you guys do at Oro Tax Advisors?
Yeah, so Oro is a premier tax advisory firm. It's made up of myself, and then I have two other partners. One is a CPA, and then one is a tax attorney. And so we really focus primarily on tax advisory services for entrepreneurs in all different industries. So we focus on the advisory side. We also offer tax compliance work, but advisory is our primary focus.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And then, so tell me a little bit more. I saw recently you moved from being a director at Checkmate Tax Advisors to becoming a partner. What's that transition been like?
Yeah, it's been good. My history is in public accounting, so I've had about 20 years of experience in public accounting. I'm in the Jacksonville, Florida area. So I worked with a local firm here in Jacksonville and then about 10 years with a national firm and left there a little bit over a year ago, went to Checkmate to try and get that up off the ground. And then myself and Danielle and John, who are the two partners, we decided, hey, we want to do this a little bit differently. We're going to do it on our own. And so we broke off and started Oro. And again, we've kind of hit the ground running and gone from there. So
Oh, nice. So it's more like a completely new business that you guys recently
that's correct.
started.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep. Very
nice. And
similar,
then
but focusing more again on the advisory side.
yeah, okay. And then so you guys all started it together about like 2 months ago, is it?
That's right. Yeah, we
Yeah.
officially launched on November 11th. So we had an event. We've got a community of our own as well. So we launched with an event that we had on the 11th and kind of brought that community live and launched the firm then. And again, it's actually been really great. We've got a good client base already. And, obviously it's the end of the year, so there's a lot of tax planning opportunities, a lot of things that people want to get done before the end of the year. And so it's been really a good time for us to launch the firm because of that opportunity with year end planning. So
Yeah, okay, cool. And then how did you get that initial base of customers already?
yeah, well, it helped again. Like I said, I've got 20 years of experience. My partner Danielle, she had a firm previous to this that focused on research and development credits. And then our other partner, John Heyer, again, is an attorney with over 30 years of experience, who also had his own firm prior to us joining together. So between the three of us, we've got a long-standing history of working with clients in our previous lives, if you will. And so, a lot of our clients just came from those previous contacts that we had. Once they saw that we were working together, they all reached out and said, "Hey, we want to work with you guys." And so it's been a nice, easy transition from that standpoint.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, that's good. And then what's like the business growth goals now with like client wise? Like, do you guys have much in terms of like marketing or what's like the plan to keep growing this business?
Yeah, I think one of the keys that I've always kind of focused on in my career is one, you've got to make sure that you service the clients that you have. And when you do that, you get a lot of growth just from word of mouth. And so, again, that's part of the community that we're building at Oro. It's called the Oro community. And so we offer and kind of focus on making sure that we're providing value to that community. And so we're really focused and have been focused, I would say, the past month and continue to do so as we go into the end of the year on making sure that we've got things nailed down from an implementation standpoint. And so again, making sure our internal processes and procedures and just the client service model in general is really nailed down and running 100%. And so again, we kind of, I would say, have pumped the brakes a little bit on growth because again, we've got enough of a client base to kind of service the needs of the firm. But again, we want to make sure that we are nailing it on an implementation and client service standpoint before we really, hit the gas and go into full growth mode. But I would expect that's going to happen probably early in the first quarter of 2026.
Right. Okay. So it's just focusing right now on the existing clients that you guys had, servicing them really good. Sounds like a bit of word of mouth as well, and then looking to grow a little bit more early next year.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. And then like come early next year, what's like the growth plans? How do you plan on getting more clients?
Yeah, so I think again a big part of that is going to be our community that we're developing. So again,
Mhm.
it's called the Oro community, and we offer a lot of value just in terms of tax education. So for instance, I've got a call tomorrow night at 7 p.m. and I'm going to go over the 12 deductions of Christmas. Again, just kind of hitting some year-end planning type tax deductions. Between myself, Danielle, and John, we each have a kind of a rotating call that typically is on Wednesday nights that focuses on just different tax topics. And so we use that again to kind of grow the community itself. And then again, it's really word of mouth from there, reaching out to our individual list that we've built up over the years and kind of saying, hey, we're ready to rock and roll. But again, it all starts with providing that value, and so that's really where the community comes in. And again, it's free to join the community. It's free to sit in on those calls, and so we're really using that to kind of drive the growth of the community. And then from there, it's just a matter of finding the right opportunities within that community to determine who's a good fit from a client standpoint.
Gotcha. And so you've mentioned this community a couple of times. So tell me a little bit more about the community.
Yeah.
What's like the infrastructure that you guys are using for it, and like where did the idea come from?
Yeah, so again, I think it's pretty popular these days. You look at different types of influencers and different type of marketing, and you see. I think part of it is people enjoy being part of something, right? And so it doesn't matter whether you're providing tax services or any other services. One of the things that we've found that our community members really like is the opportunity to interact with each other. And so, in addition to the ability for us to provide value from an education standpoint, our members are also we have an app that we've built. So our members have the opportunity to communicate with each other, and they can post questions like, "Hey, I'm working on this type of deal. Does anybody have experience with that?" Or I've run into this issue, in a specific industry that they may be in or whatever. Does anybody have a connection that can help me out? And so, again, in addition to us providing the value, I think there's value to the community members themselves by being able to interact with each other.
Mm. Yeah, and what's like the infrastructure? Is this like a Facebook group, or what do you use? You mentioned like you built an app.
No, we have our own app. It's based off of some an app structure called Circle. But again, there's a if anybody's interested, maybe I could provide you the link and you could share it. But there's a link to
Yeah.
join, and so once you
Okay.
join, you actually just download the app from the App Store, whatever operating phone you're using. And from
Okay.
there, again, it's kind of a fully hosted app that's got again an event page. It's got an opportunity to connect with other members, and then access to the recordings and things that we do.
Okay, nice. That's pretty cool. So you built like a full app that's doing the whole community and everything
That's right.
for this. Okay. And
Yep.
where did that like idea come from to do something like that? I haven't heard any accounting firm do something like that.
Yeah. Again, I think it all starts with how do we provide value, right? And again, not just value to our existing clients, but value to prospects as well, potential clients. And so again, we've got a lot of good brain power within the partners herself and the team that we built at Oro. And so that was one of the ways that we said, hey, how can we one interact with our clients and with our prospects, but how can we provide value? And again, just feedback that we've got. John Heyer, again, one of our partners, has a long history of putting on live events. And so I think it kind of was born from that. Hey, I've had a great success of putting on live CPE type, continuing education type of events. And so, again, I think there's that personal connection that people crave. And so, just seeing the opportunity of people come together at live events and interact and, just seeing some success, again, not only from, hey, I'm coming to your event to learn what you're teaching, but I'm also coming to the event to interact with the other attendees. And so it was kind of born from that of, okay, well, this is a way that we can give them that interaction, not only with us as the partners of the firm, but with each other in the community. And we just went from there.
Yeah, nice. That's awesome. Yeah, I know a few different like apps and stuff are being created for something like that. Like if you've heard of school.com, that's kind
Okay.
of similar.
Okay.
Similar concept to what you guys have as well, and it's just all about building communities and yeah, like networking and everything. So it's pretty
Yep.
similar.
Very
And
cool.
then so do you guys have any like marketing plans as well in terms of like running like meta ads or anything like that, or is it purely going to be like word of mouth and a community type of thing?
Yeah, I think we're definitely going to hit it hard on social media. John has his own YouTube channel where he does different things, and so that's one of the things we actually had a meeting about that today, just kind of talking about what our plans are for as we roll into 2026. That's one of the things that Danielle really excels at. She's got the brain for that. I think of myself as a traditional accountant. It's kind of like, oh, marketing, what's that? Let me put an ad in the yellow pages or whatever.
Yeah.
No, she's done a great job of that. We've got a big presence on social media, Instagram and Facebook, and things like that. And again, really pushing access to the community through those channels, through our YouTube channel, and really trying to expand that way. And again, always with the focus being on providing value. So we're not just posting on Instagram or posting on social media to try and get likes, but we do that in a way to try and provide some type of value, whether it's, hey, we're posting, like I posted a story on Instagram today talking about the webinar that I'm going to do tomorrow. And so again, it's trying to get the views, if you will, but do it in a way that links to something to provide value to whoever's going to see it.
Yeah, it is definitely starting to become a lot more. If people don't know you, they're not going to buy from you. They need to have gotten some value from you in some way or another before considering potentially working with you.
That's right. Yeah, I think it's interesting too. I mean, we're like in the age of TikTok tax advice, I call it, and so there's a lot of information out there and a lot of disinformation out there, and so I think that's one of the areas I've talked about trying to almost like come up with a campaign of my own of, okay, let's look at what is out there and not to discredit it or anything like that, but just again, people see that advice and think, oh, I can do that. I can do it this way, or I can do it that way. And even today, I saw some a thing on Instagram, I think it was, and they were talking about oh, people really hate October 15th because that's when they have to pay their taxes. And again, I'm talking about U.S. taxes, of course. And
Yeah.
I thought to myself immediately, like, well, that's not technically true. Really, you're supposed to pay the taxes by April 15th. And so, again, just even something little like that, again, it's not necessarily misinformation, but I think that's one of the things that I'm going to try and really focus in on as we go into the next year of making sure that we're providing that value and being correct and technically proficient in everything that we do.
Yeah, nice. And then, so changing gears a little bit. So I know previously you said you guys are looking at building some AI agents as well to do a couple of things for you. Can you tell me a little bit more about what that involves?
Sure. Yeah, I think AI is kind of one of those things. It's like obviously the buzzword of the day, and it's one of those things that if you're not focused on AI in some manner, you're kind of behind already. You're not going to be behind; you're behind already. And so, from an internal standpoint, we're looking at all the things that probably every tax or accounting firm that you talk to is working on. So, hey, how can we develop and automate procedures and processes internally? How can we create things from a document request standpoint from a client that makes it more easier and efficient for them? So we're definitely looking at all that. But from an external standpoint and kind of what you mentioned with an agent standpoint, we're trying to figure out what the best way to interact with clients and again with just people will be in the future, because I think it's one of those things that, especially as a tax firm, I don't know that people are going to be, at least not yet, completely comfortable interacting directly with AI when it comes to their tax situation, right? Or providing tax documents to AI instead of a human being. And so we're trying to figure that out. Maybe they'll get there eventually, but I don't think humans are ready for that just yet. But we're trying to figure out ways that we can make that work and make it help and make it again, like I said, we focus on advisory, and so it's not something that everybody is ready for yet, either from a price standpoint or from their business standpoint, right? But we're thinking about, okay, can we use something like AI to automate a lot of that so that maybe eventually somebody doesn't need a CPA, an attorney, human CPA, human attorney? Can we take what's in my head, what's in the attorney's head, and get that into some form of AI so that maybe if Leonard is just starting his business and he doesn't have, 15, 20, $50,000 to purchase an advisory plan with us, can we use AI to take the knowledge that we have and get it to a lower price point where it's maybe $5,000? And so then it opens up the market to somebody that maybe needs that advice, but just they haven't scaled enough to be able to afford it or be ready for that. So that's some of the things, again, very early on, just trying to figure out, how that works. And again, I think most importantly, what humans are ready to, how humans are ready to interact with AI when it comes to your sensitive tax information. I mean, you've got social security numbers and, wage information and just all kinds of personal information that I think still needs that human touch. And it's funny too, I read an article today kind of talking about some of the limitations of AI, specifically when it comes to that human feel. And there's just some things that, humans can look at with a skeptical sense of nature, or, kind of a little bit of a deeper thinking nature that AI just can't do right now. So.
Yeah, that is so true. Yeah, you can have stuff where, well, it's kind of like it hallucinates, and
Exactly.
I've had cases where you ask it a question, it gives you the answer, and then you're like, this does not sound right at all, and you're like, hey, that doesn't sound right, and it's like, oh wait, actually you're right, I wasn't right, and then so yeah, definitely can sometimes like lead you astray if you're not like you don't view it with a grain of salt type of thing.
It's very interesting. I was talking with John, again, our attorney, and he actually will like have the AIs check each other. So he may
That's yeah.
run something on one platform and then say, okay, I'm going to take that and put it into another platform and have the second one check the first one and then see what the output is and kind of compare it. And then obviously, take his actual knowledge and say, okay, is it right? Is it wrong? And what exactly is wrong? And he's had really interesting cases. He does deep dives, and I don't remember which platform it was, but he actually had the AI output, and it listed like 10 different court cases that it was referencing, and all of them were made up except for one. And so the AI, it produces it in a very confident manner. So you're like, oh, this all sounds really good. But then when you start fact checking it, and you realize like, oh, this is not that good. So again, it takes that human level still.
Yeah, yeah, I actually do exactly what you were saying he does, and just having one fact checked the other one, and I'd be always like, wait, like, so ChatGPT told, so I'd go to the other one, I'm like, hey, ChatGPT told me this, can you confirm this is actually correct? And
Right.
then it's a lot better to, especially if you're making fairly big decisions, like having just something like, I call it like it audits the work of the other
Yeah.
AI robot essentially.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah. And then, so what would you say is like the main project right now that you guys are looking at AI wise to implement? I know you listed a couple of ones already.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, like I said, the biggest thing immediately is again just working on automating our processes. And so again, similar things that other firms are doing, and again, trying to make it streamlined and efficient from a client standpoint. So again, things like automation of collecting documents for tax returns and ways to do that. And so again, sending requests to clients, having them upload documents, and then having the AI read, what is this document? It's a W-2, it's a 1099, it's a K-1, and then linking that with our tax software so that it goes
Mm-hmm.
directly into the tax software. And then again, based on maybe a prior year return, it knows, okay, hey, you uploaded your W-2 for ABC company, but you also had one for XYZ company, and automatically sending a request to the client saying, hey, you may be missing this. Do you still have that job, or did you quit that job, or just processes and things like that to kind of help automate the workflows that we have in existence.
Yeah, yeah, nice. Yeah. And I know we're starting to run out of time here. So let's finish on what's been like the most valuable lesson that you've learned so far since like starting this new business.
Yeah. Um, it's I think it always comes down to the people, right? You've got to have the right people in place, both from a partner standpoint as well as a team standpoint. And again, I think once you get the right people in the right seats and you have the right team together, then it's all about providing value to the clients. And that can be something, we hear it all the time. Sometimes people come to us and we ask them, that's one of the first things we ask them is, why are you switching, from the CPA you have or the tax advisor you have? And a lot of times it's something as simple as communication, right? Hey, I couldn't get them to call me back; they were too busy. And so I think at the end of the day, it's just making sure that you're providing value to your clients in whatever manner that is to them. Not necessarily what I think is valuable to them, but what do they think is valuable? And so that may be some great tax strategy. It may be, hey, I've got the strategy, but I need help with the implementation of the strategy. Or it may be just something as simple as I want you to call me back when I leave you a message. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's the biggest thing is getting the right team in place, having the right partners in place, making sure that you're on the same page and working together toward the same goal, and then providing that value to clients every day.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, those are really good pieces of advice. Yeah, it's been great having you on the show. Time's just flown by. Where can people go find a little bit more about you guys and what you do?
Yeah, so again, orotaxadvisors.com is our website. Oro Tax Advisors on Instagram, and then my personal Instagram is just J Lafser CP underscore CPA. And so you can check any of those. We typically post almost every day, and there will be links. Again, if you check out my Instagram page, there will be a story that I posted today with a link if you want to join the community that I talked about. And so again, it's completely free to join. There's resources that are available on there, and again, the ability to interact with other community members. So again, you have the opportunity to post questions on there, post comments, and have access to any of the live calls that we do, which is typically on a weekly basis. And then again, there will be a link on there. We've got a big event coming up on January 15th, where we're talking about kind of getting ready for the 2025 tax year filing season, so 2026 filing season, and just uncovering some things that we typically see that get missed on tax returns. So I would say check those out, and again, there will be links there if you want to join the community, and that'd be the best way to get in touch with us.
Okay, awesome. Well, I'll put those links in the show notes below. I appreciate you coming on. You guys have been listening to the Business Growth Podcast. Until next time, keep growing.